The heir to a fortune worth hundreds of billions just walked away from it all. He turned his back on the Sterling dynasty and went straight back to the dirt-poor adoptive family who actually loved him. But now, the four older sisters who swore they'd only ever acknowledge their fake brother are in absolute, full-blown panic mode. Because the second you left, the truth about that precious orphan Caspian Sterling came crashing down like a bomb. Turns out he's not adopted at all. He's the illegitimate son of your biological father and his first love, and they hid this little twist from the entire family for nearly 20 years. In your past life, the moment you were brought back to that cold mansion, you were set up. Caspian teamed up with your scumbag father and had you kidnapped, while the whole family rushed to comfort the poor traumatized fake brother. They completely forgot about you. You bled out right there at the scene, and your life just ended. Game over. But now you're back. Reborn. And you've finally woken up to the fact that this family is emotionally blind and completely hollow. Right in front of your biological father, you gave Caspian the beating of his life. Then you turned around and walked straight back to the only people who ever treated you like a real human being. Now you've just returned to the Sterling villa. Before you can even step through the door, the eldest sister, Aurelia, rips into you like you're a criminal. Orion, so you finally remember how to come home? Do you even know what time it is? Right behind her, the third sister, Callanth, chimes in with that familiar look of absolute disgust. Exactly. Caspian came back hours ago. You couldn't even make one phone call to tell us where you were, making the whole family wait for you like you're some kind of prince. You lift your head and look at them, Aurelia. Beatrix and Callanth, all lined up at the entrance like judges, shooting daggers at you. And standing right behind them, half a head taller, is Caspian. His gaze is cold, indifferent, and watching you like you're nothing. You stare right back with ice in your eyes and say, "I didn't ask you to wait for me. My phone died. I couldn't call. And honestly? Do you have to come at me this hard the second I show up?" The expressions on their faces shift to pure shock, almost in unison. Then Callanth's voice goes shrill. "How dare you speak to us like that?" You take a step closer, your tone sharp and unfriendly. "We all came from the same father. So why can't I talk to you like this? Is your status somehow royal? Or do you just think I'm some low-tier NPC compared to you?" You lock eyes with Caspian. For just a split second. Surprise flashes across his face, but he quickly smooths it over and looks like he has nothing to do with any of this. But you know better. That guy is a two-faced snake through and through. In your past life, you were deleted permanently at his hands. During the kidnapping, when you were bleeding out, he faked a faint, and the whole family rushed to him while you literally dried up and logged out of existence. The more you think about it, the harder it is to hold back. You, who are usually quiet and introverted, decide not to bottle up the rage this time. You stride up the stairs and stop half a meter in front of Caspian. "You said you wanted to eat, right? If you're not hungry, then don't bring it up. If you don't like me, just say it to my face. Stop with this passive-aggressive garbage. You might not think you're disgusting, but I've wanted to throw up for a long time." Aurelia's eyebrows shoot up in fury. "You're completely unreasonable. We're your older sisters, and we criticized you a little, and this is how you talk to us?" Callanth, though, goes straight into rage mode. She steps forward, points right at your nose, and shouts, "I just don't like you, so what? Even if we came from the same mother, I don't like you, period. What are you gonna do about it?" You let the strap of your backpack slip into your hand and let out a light chuckle. "You're all my biological sisters. What could I possibly do to you? But there is still one thing I can do." Before the sentence even finishes, you raise your foot and deliver a heavy critical strike straight to Caspian's zipper zone. No scream, no cry, just a strangled squawk from his throat as his body crumples to the ground. He curls up, both hands clutching his lower half, rolling back and forth in pure, agonizing pain. The three Sterling sisters scream in unison. "Orion, are you crazy? Why would you hit someone? Caspian, are you okay? Mom! Caspian got beaten up. Come quick." But even Callanth, who's the closest to Caspian, has no way to check on him. Because, well, the injured area is just a little too awkward. And you, the one who just delivered that legendary kick, suddenly feel your heart 50% lighter. Then you swing your backpack and smash it right down onto Caspian's head. Inside the bag, besides the usual test papers and materials, there's a massive English dictionary. At least 8 centimeters thick. Not quite a brick, but honestly not far off. When the backpack slams onto the side of his face twice, Caspian finally lets out a proper, tragic scream. Snapping out of her shock, Aurelia steps forward to push you away. But you're still not satisfied. You deliver a flying slapkick straight to his face. You little, I let you slander me at home. I let you sabotage me. Your own foot hurts so much you can barely stand. Then Beatrix and Aurelia push you to the ground. Caspian has completely blue-screened and passed out. Soon the main doors burst open. Alistair and Serafina rush out with a few servants, completely panicked. Serafina gasps in horror, then starts wailing as she throws herself onto Caspian's body. Alistair stares at his biological son, beaten into a coma, his eyes rapidly turning red. He looks like he's about to explode. You bastard! How dare you! He roars and raises his hand to slap you, but you stagger backward and dodge it perfectly. You point at Caspian on the ground. Aren't you going to check on him first? Serafina, completely ignoring her elegant image, lies beside him crying. Caspian, what happened? Don't scare Mom. Alistair's chest heaves with anger. He looks at Serafina and Caspian. Then yells at his 3 daughters who are standing there looking helpless. Why haven't you called an ambulance yet? Aurelia and Beatrix rush toward the gates. Then Alistair turns to you and roars, Are you trying to unalive your own brother? Speak. Why did you attack him? Serafina also stops crying and looks at you with teary eyes. You look back at your biological mother. The expression in her eyes makes your heart run cold. She's not looking at a long-lost son, she's looking at a complete stranger. There's even a hint of disgust and fear. Seeing that look, you feel even less regret. Why did I hit him? Obviously, because he's highly punchable. You take 2 steps back and keep going. What kind of thing does he think he is? I am a true member of the Sterling family. Whether it's background or grades, he's inferior to me. Why should I have to look at his sour face? Your talent for planting blame has unlocked naturally. He's been running his mouth at school, claiming he's the main heir of the Sterling family. Isn't that just slapping the family right in the face? I've never mentioned our family affairs at school. I've never leaked my identity as the real biological son. If I hadn't been held up in class, and if I wasn't afraid that starting a fight would expose my identity, I would have beaten him up at school ages ago. If those people at school actually think he's the Sterling heir, what am I supposed to do? Normally, you all tell me to let him have his way. I've done that for 4 whole years. I tripped and fell. My leg hurt so much I couldn't walk. And he actually dared to give me attitude. I just suddenly didn't want to tolerate it anymore. Alistair roars in fury. Shut your mouth. His voice is so loud it makes Callanth, standing to the side, shiver uncontrollably. Everyone go back inside. He yells at the servants by the door. Then he turns to you viciously. You better pray your brother is okay. Otherwise, you can roll right out of the Sterling family, go back to your adoptive parents, and live the life of a low-class peasant. I am a true Sterling. He's nothing but a stray wild seed. Could he possibly be more important than me? You purposely poke right at his sore spot. Alistair says with pure hatred, since I brought him back and raised him all those years ago. He's kept your mother company for 18 years. In my eyes, there's no difference between a stray and a biological son. Tell me yourself, ever since you came to the Sterling family, haven't I treated you both fairly in terms of material conditions? You mockingly laugh. Oh, yeah. Totally the same. We both go to elite high school. Neither of us gets a private driver. But I know for a fact that before I came back, he had a full-time private driver. His weekly allowance is at least $30,000, and he even holds your secondary credit card. He told me all of this himself. I assume you didn't know that? Alistair growls low. That doesn't mean I'm unfair to you. You raise your hand to stop him. I am the one with the Sterling DNA. So treating him and me fairly is the greatest unfairness to me. Returning to the Sterling family, I don't just face you alone. I face a whole family, my mom, my sisters. What does fairness from just you alone count for? Even if I could understand that he accompanied you all these years as a substitute, filling the emotional void when I was gone, that doesn't mean I'm willing to accept him continuing to stay in this house. Today, I just wanted to let him know that he and I are completely unequal in status. I am the legitimate son. He's just a stray who doesn't even qualify as an illegitimate child. Your provocative words stab right into Alistair's most sensitive nerves. Caspian, this teenager who knows full well his own illegitimate status, has been cultivated by Alistair and Serafina to be deeply calculating. In front of Serafina, he plays the good, obedient, perfect son. In front of Alistair, he shows potential for being tough and dominant. And in front of the sisters, he's the highly energetic, affectionate little brother. You still remember clearly how the kidnappers threatened the family, and Serafina just wanted to save face. They sent 200 million in ransom, only to have the price hiked on the spot. Because of that, you took another slash to the leg, a major artery severed, leading to a fountain of blood loss. But the Sterling family only cared about begging the kidnappers not to hurt Caspian, completely ignoring you. After you logged out of life, you floated in midair and saw Caspian, who had fainted from fright, being sent to the VIP intensive care unit. Meanwhile, your physical shell was sent straight to the morgue. It wasn't until the hospital urged them that cremation was mandatory that the Sterling family finally remembered your existence. Your soul wandered around the Sterling family in Cloud City for over a year. You slowly discovered that everything was planned by Caspian. You saw with your own eyes how he contacted the kidnappers who had been on the run for a year to pay the final balance. All to secure the inheritance rights of the Sterling family. He plotted to delete you, his only competitor. You followed Caspian around for over 10 years until one noon when you took the nasty fall at school and suddenly gained the memories of your past life, or rather, experienced a rebirth. You remember clearly that after Caspian later took control of the Sterling family, his biological mother, Penelope White, was brought into the Sterling mansion. Meanwhile, the fates of Serafina and the four sisters were incredibly tragic. As for the scumbag dad, Alistair, after Serafina passed away, he immediately held a grand wedding with Penelope White. Caspian legitimately became the official heir of the Cloud City Sterling family. Having lived two lives, you've become completely numb to the aggressive stupidity of the women in this family. At this moment, Aurelia and Beatrix step out of the door, trying to support the fainted Caspian. Seeing this, Callant quickly goes over to help. Aurelia looks at you with a frosty face. Orion, you have disappointed us far too much. Callant adds shrilly, you are just a selfish, ungrateful wolf. Thank goodness I never actually treated you as real family. Otherwise, you would have utterly disgusted me. Serafina, crying so hard she can barely speak, looks at Caspian, whom the three daughters can barely hold up. She turns to you and says, Orion, you are too cruel. Hearing this, you feel both ridiculous and furious. If it weren't for the rebirth, you would probably still be enduring it all right until you were plotted against and sent to the grave by Caspian. Sweeping your gaze around, you look at Alistair and the coldness, disdain, and disgust of the people in this house. You ask coldly, you all think Caspian is my younger brother. You feel he's a member of the Sterling family, and I am your biological son, right? We did a paternity test 4 years ago. But what about him? He was adopted, right? You all constantly call him son and brother. What about me? In 4 years, I have never heard anyone call me brother, nor have I heard anyone call me son. This barrage of questions leaves everyone somewhat stunned. No one had ever seen you speak so loudly or point at Caspian and question them like this, let alone violently beat him up. It wasn't until the sound of an ambulance siren came from outside. Serafina quickly ordered the servants to open the gates. Red and blue lights flashed as two people in white coats ran in carrying a stretcher. After placing Caspian on it, they quickly ran back to the vehicle. Serafina immediately ran after them, not even casting a single glance your way. Callant followed closely, yelling, I'm coming too. Aurelia hurried over and grabbed Serafina. Mom, don't go. The third sister and I will go. Help Mom back inside to rest. Serafina covered her mouth, silently sobbing. As she stepped onto the stairs, she glared at you fiercely. After the ambulance wailed away, soon only the four of you were left at the entrance. You look at Alistair's sinister, ruthless eyes and his somewhat panicked expression and suddenly smile. I am your biological son, right? The words drop. Alistair, Serafina, and Beatrix remain completely silent. Only Callant glares at you like you're her mortal enemy. You point in the direction of the main gates and continue, tell me yourself. Is he your biological son? Alistair's face turns iron blue, the corner of his eye twitching involuntarily. Hearing this, Serafina finally speaks up. Does it matter if he's biological or not? Caspian has accompanied us for 18 years. You don't cherish this bond, but we value it very much. You personally witness a trace of panic flash deep in Alistair's eyes. You continue staring at him. What do you think? Does it matter if he's biological? Alistair keeps his face gloomy, staring at you viciously. Today, your behavior has shown absolutely zero of the respect and awe you used to have for him, and it makes him extremely uncomfortable. Your repeated mentions of biological embarrass him even more. Now, no matter what, Alistair says in a deep voice, bringing you back all those years ago was truly a mistake. Ever since you arrived, you've been causing trouble in this house every other day. To lay such a heavy hand on your brother, the Sterling family can no longer tolerate you. Leave. Go back to your adoptive parents' place. When we brought you back, your household registration wasn't transferred. You merely have the surname Sterling. The Sterling DNA might flow in your veins, but you are not a member of my Sterling family. You are not worthy. Serafina looks like she wants to say something but stops. However, Beatrix gently supports her arm, and she closes her mouth. Your gaze remains fixed on Alistair's face, carefully observing his expression. From all the information you can sense, you believe Alistair is not joking. He truly wants you to roll out. And his motive? This actually saves a lot of steps. So you definitively state, Mr. Sterling, are you certain you want to sever ties with me? From now on, I am no longer a member of the Sterling family. Alistair, his face iron blue, says absolutely nothing. Seeing this, you click your tongue and smile. Well, at least I beat the crap out of that wild seed. Caspian holding back for 4 years, I finally let out a breath of bad air. After speaking, you bend down, pick up your backpack, and walk out of this courtyard. I am no longer a member of the Sterling family. Remember this, Mr. Sterling, Miss Serafina, and second Miss Sterling. From this moment on, I am not a person of your family. The 3 people on the porch watch as you walk down the stairs, cross the courtyard, and pull open the main gates. Serafina finally can't hold it in anymore. She cries out loud, Orion, don't go. Okay? Mom is begging you. You turn around and look at Serafina. Her snot and tears have ruined her makeup. A pang of sharp pain hits your heart. However, you still say coldly to Alistair. Stepping out of this door, I hope we never interact with each other again until the end of time. I will never come looking for you. Otherwise, may I meet a terrible end. Please never take the initiative to look for me either. Since finding me was a mistake to begin with, then just act like you never found me, or just pretend I logged out 18 years ago. Mr. Sterling, just pretend you never gave birth to me. After saying that, you turn back to Serafina and add, Mrs. Serafina, I'll give you a piece of advice. The person I beat up is your adoptive son, but he is only your adoptive son. You emphasize your tone, then let go of the door and leave. You casually toss your house keys onto the side of the road. Leaving your biological parents might not be a good thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing either. For the sake of Serafina being your biological mother, you've already dropped a massive hint. Whether she can understand it or not is none of your business anymore. From now on, the sea is vast for fish to leap, and the sky is high for birds to fly. On this summer night, the air carries a humid, stuffy vibe that somehow dilutes the salty, fishy smell of the sea breeze. Carrying your backpack, you walk alone on the street. An inexplicable surge of excitement makes your heart beat rapidly. All of your personal wealth, including years of New Year's lucky money and birthday cash gifts, are stored in your green chat wallet. Plus the 10,000 or so in your bank app, adding it all up makes nearly 200,000. To you, this is a massive fortune. You certainly wouldn't be stupid enough to return the money, but compared to Caspian, you're definitely dirt poor. The pocket money given to him by the eldest and second sisters alone is tens of thousands a month. Not to mention that illegitimate son probably holds a secondary credit card. But you're not doing too badly yourself. In the dozen or so years after you died in your past life, following Caspian as a ghost, you learned a lot of inside information about finance and even some secrets of the southern wealthy families. These are highly valuable. They won't go to waste. After hopping into a taxi, you head straight for the adoptive parents' home where you lived for 14 years. Starlight neighborhood is a rather small old residential area. The residents here are mostly old neighbors who have lived here for 10 or 20 years. The neighborhood ties are strong, but the downside is that the buildings mostly lack elevators. Adoptive. Father Arthur Vance and adoptive mother Martha Vance opened a modest riverside snack shop near the neighborhood entrance. At this hour, the shop has long been closed, but they probably haven't rested yet. You weave left and right until you reach the entrance of Unit 3 of one of the buildings. Walking up to the second floor, you stand in front of the door of room 201 and raise your hand to knock. The door quickly opens. A voice full of pleasant surprise rings out. "Bro! Why are you here?" "Mom, my brother is back." You reach out to block the girl throwing herself at you. "Haven't seen you in a few months, you've grown so tall." "Mom, Dad, it's me. I'm back." This girl named Hazel Vance is the biological daughter of your adoptive parents. Back then, 3 years after they adopted you from the orphanage, they had her. The girl is now over 1.6 meters tall. She's grown quite a bit since you last saw her and is already a pretty young lady. "I'm 16 now. I'm 1.66 meters tall right now. I can still grow." Hazel pulls your hand, dragging you into the house. A middle-aged couple steps out from inside the room. Arthur and Martha's faces are filled with absolute joy. "Orion is back. Hurry, come in and sit." You smile and nod. "Mom! Dad!" Martha rubs her hands together, greeting you warmly. Come in, come in. Have you eaten yet? If not, Mom will make you a bowl of noodles." After saying that, she looks at you awkwardly and corrects herself. "Auntie will make you a bowl of noodles." Hearing this, you immediately say, "You are my mom. I haven't had dinner yet." With those words, Martha turns and heads into the kitchen. In a spot where no one is looking, she raises her hand to wipe away her tears. Soon Arthur walks over, takes one look at you, then nods, revealing a deeply satisfied smile. Looking at the man in front of you and the girl beside you, your mood inexplicably becomes much calmer. This is the place where you grew up, the home you lived in for over a decade. You used to be called Orion Vance, but 4 years ago, you changed your name to Orion Sterling and moved to the Sterling Villa, but that place only gave you a life and a surname. This place is what truly gave you the complete feeling of a family. You suppress your wandering thoughts, put down your backpack, and size up the room. The layout inside is no different from 4 years ago, exactly the same as the year you left. Why did you suddenly come over? Did you suffer grievances at the Sterling house? Arthur brings over a cup of tea and places it in front of you. You stay silent for a moment, not entirely sure how to explain. Seeing this, Arthur pats your shoulder, looks right into your eyes, and says, "It's fine. When you were taken back then, I told you, although we don't have as much money as the Sterling family, the doors to this house will always be open for you. No matter when you come back, this is your home." Hearing this, you feel a warm current flow through your heart. You smile and say, "I'm fine. I'm in my senior year of high school now. The college entrance exams are coming up soon. I heard them say my household registration is still here." Arthur nods. "That's right. It's still at home. Back then, I suggested transferring it directly over, but your father disagreed, saying we should wait a few years." He looks at you with confusion. "Are they mistreating you?" You shake your head and say calmly, "It's nothing. It's all in the past. I won't have any relation with them from now on." Arthur's expression instantly changes. What exactly happened? Did that adopted kid of theirs bully you? When the Sterling family took you back, Arthur specifically asked around and found out they also had an adopted son the same age as you, plus 4 older sisters. The arrogant, high and mighty attitude of that family back then, and the looks of disdain they cast upon seeing the conditions of this home really made his blood boil. You shake your head and say, "Let's not mention the past. I am back. I am still the son of you and Mom, and I am Hazel's big brother. This identity will never change no matter what." With that said, Arthur's face regains a bit of color. If the child doesn't want to dwell on it, then let it be. But if you had any inclination, he absolutely wouldn't be polite with the Sterling family. Did they really think Arthur Vance was just a small restaurant owner? He raised his son like a treasure for 14 years only for them to take him away and treat him like garbage. Who gave them the right? If it weren't for holding back his temper back then, a tiny branch family of the Sterlings in Cloud City wouldn't even amount to a fart. After calming his emotions, a smile returns to his face. You, however, feel a bit nervous at this moment. You visited this place way too few times over the past 4 years. If Alistair hadn't specifically ordered you not to interact with the Vance family, you definitely would have stayed in touch constantly. For the past 4 years, you cared way too much about the feelings of your biological parents and sisters. Thinking back on it now, you were just a giant gullible clown. Seeing this, Arthur slaps your shoulder hard and laughs. "You brat. Why are you being so polite with me? I said this is always your home. As long as there are people in this house, you can come anytime. Your room has been kept exactly the way it was. After you left, your mom cried for a long time. Nothing in that room has been touched. I don't care how you were doing at the Sterling house. If you don't want to go back, just live here permanently. Martha walks out of the kitchen holding a bowl of sizzling stir-fried noodles and places it on the coffee table. Orion, hurry up and eat the noodles. What time is it and you still haven't eaten? I don't know what on earth happened to you. You take the chopsticks. Thanks, Mom. For all these years, the food I wanted to eat the most was always what you cooked. Seeing this, Martha smiles warmly and goes to help tidy up your bedroom. Early the next morning, you wake up right around 7 a.m. After packing up, you grab your backpack and walk into the living room. You pick up a glass of soy milk, gulp it down in 2 or 3 swigs, rip off a plastic bag, shove 2 fried dough sticks directly inside, and say, "I'm running late. I'll take this to school to eat." Then the two of you and Hazel, walk out of the house together. But unexpectedly, just as you step out of the building unit's door, you hear a voice coming from nearby. I knew he definitely ran off to this place. You turn your head and see the Porsche driven by your third sister, Calanth. Both the front and back windows are rolled down. Sitting in the back is Serafina. And surprisingly, she still looks teary-eyed and blurry. Seeing this, you whisper to Hazel, "You go ahead. I'll head to school by myself in a bit." Hazel doesn't say a word, just lowers her head and walks away quickly. You walk forward, stopping about 2 meters from the car, and ask, "Didn't we agree not to disturb each other?" Calanth explodes upon hearing this. "We give you an inch and you take a mile, huh, Orion?" Before she can even finish speaking, Serafina has already pushed open the car door and stepped out. She steps forward trying to grab your hand, but you take a few steps back and say coldly, "If you have something to say, say it. If not, I need to go to school. It's Mom who wronged you. Come home with Mom. Okay?" Serafina comes from a wealthy family and has received higher education. Of course, she knows she wronged you. Losing a child from a young age is inevitably the fault of the adults. What fault could an infant possibly have? Mom knows we ignored your feelings. Mom promises to treat you well from now on. You listen, giving a half smile as you ask, "Is Caspian okay?" Serafina continues with a crying tone. "Caspian is already fine. Come back with Mom. Yesterday your dad was just confused by anger. Mom promises to treat you well." You shake your head and say, "Are you done talking? If you're done, I'm going to class." After saying that, you move your legs to leave. Seeing this, Calanth violently shoves open the car door and steps out, pointing directly at your nose and shouting loudly, "Orion, don't push it too far. Caspian was beaten to a pulp by you. Yet he's broad-minded enough to not even ask for your apology. Be a good boy and come back with us, and you'll still be a sterling young master." Hearing this, you stop in your tracks and smile. "I don't need to apologize. Is that your condition?" Serafina nods quickly upon hearing this. "No need to apologize. It's Mom who wronged you. It's not your fault." Calanth just lets out a snort. You shake your head and say, "Then what about my condition? Are you willing to make Caspian move out?" The words drop. Serafina immediately looks stunned. She opens her mouth but ultimately says absolutely nothing. Calanth's face, however, changes instantly. "Don't push your luck. I advise you to quit while you're ahead. We came all the way here to pick you up. What more do you want? You beat Caspian up like that. Shouldn't you be the one apologizing to him?" Serafina also steps forward with a bitter expression. "Orion, are you really not coming home with Mom?" You exhale a breath and speak up. "I won't go back. I made it very clear yesterday. If I go back, I'll surely meet a terrible end. Furthermore, even if I wasn't afraid of dying, you guys should at least tell him to roll out of the Sterling house, right? But looking at it now, you obviously aren't willing to let him go. If you choose to pick Caspian, that is your freedom. Similarly, I also made my choice last night. Since I refuse to yield and agree to leave the Sterling family from now on, please don't come and disturb my life anymore." "Can you do that?" Calanth curses with a furious face. "Who do you think you are? Who are you striking this pose for? Caspian is my younger brother. I will not let him leave. As for you, Dad was just giving you one last chance. A garbage dump like this where only low-class peasants stay, I wouldn't even come here if you invited me. And you actually treat yourself like a treasure." Serafina, her body trembling, says, Orion, do you absolutely insist on making Caspian leave? You're carving out Mom's heart. You look down at your watch, then force out a smile and say, Mrs. Sterling, I understand your feelings. Caspian was a substitute during the 14 years I was gone, plus the 4 years since I came back. That's a total of 18 years. Living together for 18 years, watching him grow up from a child, your emotional bond is deep. Furthermore, you can't even balance a simple bowl of water evenly. All of you are worried he won't be able to handle it. But among you, did anyone ever care if I could handle it? Did anyone ever care how it feels to watch my own biological parents and relatives be snatched away by someone else? You favor an outsider. You know perfectly well how you treat your own biological son and younger brother. Why should I endure such humiliation in the Sterling family? Am I not living perfectly comfortably at my adoptive father's house? After saying that, you turn around and walk away. I still have to go to school. I won't waste any more time arguing with you. Just like I said last night, I am no longer a member of the Sterling family. I will not go looking for you, and please never come disturb me again. There are no longer any ties between us. This time, Serafina's tears truly couldn't be held back. Usually, when she saw you in the Sterling house, she felt you were vulgar and uneducated, but she never considered that cultivating you was supposed to be her responsibility. She also believed that your agreement to sever ties was just you putting on an act. After all, the Sterling family's economic power is considered quite substantial. She originally thought you would be just as obedient as before, no matter what demands were made. You would go all out to fulfill them, all just to gain her approval. But now things are wrong. You walk very fast. In just a few minutes, you've already disappeared from their sight. Serafina watches your fading back, completely unable to understand. She just couldn't bear to let Caspian leave her side. Could you really not understand this kind of emotion? Her husband, Alistair, told her that being strict with you was for the sake of properly cultivating you, because eventually you would inherit the Sterling family's business. That's why they'd been so strict with you over the past few years, rarely even offering a smile. But she forgot that the attitude and expectations everyone had for Caspian were based on two completely different standards compared to you. Even though it breaks her heart now, she is still unwilling to let Caspian leave. That is the son she raised from a tiny infant all the way until now. Sure, he's a bit clingy, but isn't that exactly a display of deep mother-son affection? What's wrong with that? Why can't Orion, her own biological son, just accept it? Callan steps up, supports Serafina, frowns, and advises, stop crying. Let's go back. Next month is Caspian's 18th birthday. The birthday banquet and his coming-of-age ceremony haven't even been fully prepared yet. Hearing this, Serafina gets into the car without saying a word, and the two drive away. At noon, after finishing lunch, you return to the classroom and lie on your desk reading a book. Approaching 1 p.m. Accompanied by the sound of high heels, a figure appears in front of you. You raise your head from behind a tall stack of books and see Beatrix standing calmly in front of you. Come out. I have something to say to you. You can't read her expression, but you just feel a bit annoyed. Didn't I already say I don't acknowledge being a Sterling anymore? Didn't I say not to disturb me? But looking at the classmates in the room who are either reading or sleeping, you can't exactly throw a tantrum in the classroom. You can only nod and follow Beatrix downstairs out of the academic building. The things you left at home, I've kept them in my car. Do you want them or not? Walking towards a large tree off to the side, Beatrix stops, turns around, and looks at you. You also stop, looking puzzled. You came all the way here just for this? Among the four sisters, the fourth sister, Daphne, rarely spoke to you, but she also never used vicious words. The others generally never gave you a good look. Beatrix doesn't speak. Just keeps staring at you. You shake your head and say, I'm not a Sterling anymore. I don't need any of the Sterling family's things. You can just throw them away. The things are in the car. If you want them, come get them with me in a bit. I came to find you for another matter. What did you mean by the last sentence you said when you left yesterday? That sentence about Caspian being Mom's adoptive son. What exactly did that mean? Hearing this, you still shake your head. It doesn't really have any special meaning. Just telling you guys that he is an adopted son. That's all. If there's nothing else, I'm going back. Don't come looking for me again. After saying that, you turn around and walk away. Beatrix stands right where she is, watching you gradually disappear from sight. Doubts constantly sprouting in her mind. Did he really not mean anything else? Then why did his eyes carry a trace of mockery? Thinking of this, Beatrix walks toward the school gates. She takes a suitcase out and places it at the guardhouse, telling the security guard to hand it to Orion Vance in the senior class before leaving with a mind full of doubts. When you head home after school, sure enough, you are stopped by the security guard at the gate. Looking at the two suitcases in the guardhouse, you feel a headache coming on. After thinking about it, you decide to just throw them straight at the door of the Sterling Villa. This would clearly state your attitude and determination. So you pull out your phone, give Arthur a call, then take the suitcases, catch a taxi to the Sterling Villa, dump the bags at the entrance, and leave immediately. Upon returning home, you discover that your adoptive parents are actually both home right now. Moreover, the dining table is filled with a lavish dinner. It's obvious the whole family hasn't started eating and is waiting for you. Seeing you push the door open and walk in, Arthur greets you with a cheerful smile. You came back too late yesterday, so we're throwing you a welcome home dinner today. Not many people were at the shop by 2 p.m., so we closed early. Quick, taste this. Your mom made all of this specially for you. You wash your hands, come back, and sit at the dining table. Arthur pulls a bottle of beer from under the table and places it down. Welcome home, Orion. Let's have a little drink today. Martha playfully glares at him with a smile but doesn't stop piling food into your bowl. Arthur raises his glass and says earnestly, I won't say anything else. No matter what happened in the past, Orion, you are always our child. Welcome home. I also hope you can forget the past and start fresh. Martha also raises her wine glass, her eye sockets turning red as she speaks. Orion, this is your home. Always will be. Hearing this, your nose tingles. You nod heavily, tilt your head back, and down the beer in one breath. Sunday, you wearing fresh clothes jog to the lottery shop outside the neighborhood. You look clean and full of energy. Standing at the door, you stare at the heavy lines drawn on the wall by obsessed lottery fanatics. If you remember correctly, the Megasphere lottery draw at the end of May will feature an unprecedented consecutive straight flush of numbers. This sequence is simply impossible to generate via quick pick, nor could anyone possibly guess it. However, for this draw, someone actually hits the jackpot. To avoid suspicion, you pull out a $10 bill and buy 5 tickets, asking the boss to arrange the numbers from 8 to 14 according to your request. Even though the boss looks at you with weird eyes, he doesn't say much. He nimbly prints the tickets, hands them to you, and goes right back to his grand enterprise of calculating numbers. You tuck the tickets away safely, turn around, and head home. The draw will happen tomorrow, Monday, but you know for a fact that it won't be a winner because the one you actually want to buy is the draw for next Saturday night. You know very well in your heart that you can't tell anyone about this kind of thing. So you keep it a secret from everyone, including mom and dad. Consider it a test of your rebirth. If you really hit the jackpot, then you'll officially tell them. Sunday night, Aurelia returns home, preparing to take a shower and sleep. But just as she changes into her nightgown, she hears someone knock on the door. Putting on a coat and walking over to check, she sees Beatrix standing at the door in her pajamas, speaking in a ghostly tone. Eldest sister, I have something to talk to you about. Aurelia pauses for a second, steps aside, and then sits on the sofa with Beatrix. It's so late, and you're not asleep yet. What's the matter? Beatrix hesitates for quite a while before finally starting. Sister, I saw Orion yesterday at noon. I originally went to bring him the things from his room and asked a question along the way. When Orion left that night, he said a sentence that has made me feel very uncomfortable these past few days. Aurelia frowns slightly. Even though her second sister hasn't said what it is yet, she can sensitively feel that whatever she's about to say is definitely not a minor issue. So Aurelia encourages her. What did he say that night? I didn't catch it at the time. Beatrix replies, it was the sentence he said to Mom right before he left. I suspect he was hinting at something specific. He said he wanted to give Mom a piece of kind advice. He said Caspian is Mom's adoptive son, but he is only Mom's adoptive son. Aurelia frowns and thinks for a moment, her face changing unpredictably. Sister, tell me, have we been really terrible to Orion these past few years? No matter what he did, we were never satisfied. He doesn't even want the status of the Sterling heir anymore. All she can think of now is how she used to scold you. Although she wasn't as utterly venomous as the third sister, Callanth, she never had any nice words to say either. Thinking about how you turned your back and left with just a backpack that night, her heart feels incredibly painful. Beatrix hasn't even had the mood to work these past 2 days. She's been thinking about this all day long. What was your actual intention behind that sentence when you left? She knows that the whole family, except for the fourth sister who isn't home, trusts Caspian with almost zero rationality. Thinking of this, she mutters to herself, does the emotion of living together for 18 years far outweigh rationality? Unable to hold back her curiosity, Aurelia asks, Beatrix, tell me, what exactly did Orion mean by that sentence that night? Beatrix shakes her head slightly. I went to ask him at noon the next day. He refused to tell me anything, only saying he didn't mean anything else. Just telling Mom that Caspian is an adopted son. But I always feel like something isn't right. Caspian being adopted is a fact everyone knows. There is absolutely no need to deliberately state it. So why did he specifically say it once to Mom, and he deliberately emphasized the words only yours? I feel there is a hidden message, but I can't guess it. Beatrix doesn't say that she doesn't dare to guess any further. According to her own interpretation, there are 2 meanings. The first is that Caspian is an adopted son and fundamentally not a Sterling. The second is saying that Caspian is merely the mother's adopted son, but not necessarily the father's adopted son. A third possibility is that Caspian isn't the child of their parents, but comes from the main Sterling branch in the capital that would still make him family. The first one is what everyone knows, Caspian isn't a Sterling. The second one is deeply worth pondering. If Caspian isn't the father's adopted son, then there is only one possibility. Caspian is also the father's child. Father has had someone on the outside for nearly 20 years. As for the third possibility, she has absolutely no ability to investigate it. Her father coming to Cloud City to establish his own company was actually to help the capital Sterling family plant a foot in Cloud Province. To achieve what he has now, her father's capability is unquestionable. But these are all just her own guesses, unable to be verified. She doesn't dare to just blurt out these thoughts directly. She needs someone to help her confirm this idea to validate it. And Aurelia sitting beside her falls deep into thought after hearing these words. So you came to find me just to tell me this. As Aurelia thinks, she says, this sentence can be interpreted in 2 ways. One is that Caspian isn't a Sterling. He was adopted. I remember Dad brought Caspian back. At that time, Mom was so devastated over losing Orion that she was basically in a daze all day long. The other meaning is saying Caspian is just Mom's adopted son, but not necessarily Dad's adopted son. Do you think my analysis is correct? Aurelia stares right into Beatrix's eyes as she speaks. Beatrice lowers her head. I don't know. Orion being able to decide to leave so quickly means he has completely lost all hope in our Sterling family. Moreover, he refused to let me call myself his sister. Her eyes turn red. She gently sniffs, suppressing the sourness. Aurelia suddenly thinks of the words her lawyer friend Silas Thorne had casually said when she was emotional. Have you ever thought about how your biological brother feels? How about we go ask Orion tomorrow? Find out what he really meant. Aurelia tries to ask. Beatrix nods. He probably doesn't want to see us right now. Why don't you try contacting him tomorrow at noon? Wait until he finishes class at 12 p.m. Call him after he's done with lunch. I don't have any meetings tomorrow afternoon. I'll arrange my schedule in the morning, then call you. Should we both go see him, or should I go alone? Aurelia originally didn't expect Beatrix to go with her. She didn't expect her second sister to nod so decisively. I want to go, and I really want to know if he truly knows something and how did he find out. Besides, I also want to apologize to him. In the past, I was way too harsh on him. Whether he's willing to forgive me or not, I owe him an apology. Beatrix's expression is somewhat complex and unreadable. Aurelia doesn't know if she genuinely wants to apologize to you, but since she wants to go, they will go together. Monday noon, you once again receive a call from Aurelia. Orion, are you at school? Aurelia's tone is extremely calm, giving you absolutely no hint of her emotions. You hesitate for a moment, simply remaining silent, but you don't hang up the phone either. Aurelia seems to exhale a breath, and then you hear her say, Can you take a leave of absence this afternoon? I want to meet you. You frown. Didn't we say we wouldn't disturb each other? Aurelia replies, It's not just me. Your second sister and I are coming to see you. You let out a scoffing laugh. Don't use the word sister. You don't deserve it, and I don't have sisters like you. Aurelia doesn't want to get tangled up in these details. She directly says, take a leave this afternoon. Your second sister and I will wait for you at your school gates at 1:45. You glance at your watch. It's almost 1 p.m. Sounding somewhat impatient, you ask, what exactly do you guys have to say that requires meeting up? Can't you say it over the phone? There is a moment of silence from Aurelia's end. It's not convenient to say over the phone. We're heading out soon. We should be at your place between 1:30 and 1:45. You don't say anything else. You hang up the phone and head back to the classroom. On the other side, Aurelia stares at the disconnected call, a bit dazed. She honestly didn't expect you to actually agree to meet them. He agreed. He didn't reject us. I'll prepare a bank card then, Beatrix says. Not much, just 100,000. Aurelia shakes her head upon hearing this. I've talked to my friend about Orion and the family's situation. If you just give him money, I'm afraid it will only deepen his misunderstanding. Beatrix smiles at this. It's fine. If he doesn't want it, I'll just take it back. I know he definitely went back to his adoptive father's house. That family's conditions aren't good. Aurelia stares at her for a moment. Then asks, I remember that although you weren't as extreme as our third sister, you didn't seem to treat Orion very well either. Yeah. Beatrix picks up her coffee, turning her gaze out the window. If it weren't for him giving that reminder, I probably wouldn't have thought this deeply. Come to think of it, all these years, he has always been so cautious, desperately wanting everyone's approval. I won't speak for the rest of you, but I definitely went way too far. No matter what, he is our blood brother, born of the same mother. Hearing these words, Aurelia instantly gets a bit angry. Beatrix, stop letting your imagination run wild. All these years, what has Caspian done wrong? Are you doubting Caspian now? Beatrice turns her head and looks at her. Sister, you ask me what Caspian did wrong. True, he hasn't done anything wrong. But what did Orion ever do wrong? Every single time, whatever Caspian says, we just instantly believe it. Also, didn't you also interpret that sentence Orion said in 2 different ways? Are you telling me you haven't considered the absolute worst-case scenario? As a writer and screenwriter herself, she has written countless characters. Putting herself in his shoes, she admits there is no way she could endure 4 years like you did. She would have flipped the table completely within a single week. Hearing her rapid-fire questions, Aurelia doesn't argue further. She simply shakes her head and sighs. Let's go. It's about time. We should arrive at his school gate right on schedule. After speaking, she picks up her bag, gets up, and heads out. Beatrice also puts down her cup and silently follows. Time flies to 1:40. After walking out of the school gates, you immediately spot Aurelia's Maserati parked on the roadside not far away. You walk over and knock on the window. The window rolls down, revealing Aurelia's face. Get in. You open the back door and get in. In the front sit Aurelia and Beatrix. Inside a Western restaurant, after ordering the food, Beatrix places her phone to the side. Instantly, an unbearably awkward silence descends upon the three of you. You take the initiative to break the ice. I took a leave. Whatever you need to say, just say it directly. Your second sister and I came to find you because we want to know what exactly you know regarding Caspian that day you left. What exactly did that specific sentence you said to Mom mean? To get a straightforward answer from you, Aurelia fires everything off in one breath. Your second sister realized you had a hidden meaning. So we came because we want to know what you're trying to say. Are you trying to say Caspian is Dad's illegitimate child? You pause for a second, noticing that Beatrix is also staring at you with an eager look. Speaking of which, the college entrance exams are right around the corner. Caspian has excellent grades, that is a fact. Even though this has nothing to do with you, if you can make that guy's mentality take a nosedive, at the very least, it would bring you a bit of joy. Besides, you originally planned to tell them anyway. You just hadn't figured out the method yet. Since they delivered themselves right to your door, you might as well tell them, letting Caspian and Alistair, this wholesome father-son duo, face the wrath of the Jiao, Seraphina's family early. Thinking of this, you speak with a hint of playful mockery in your tone. Caspian's biological mother is named Penelope White. She lives in Building 13, District 2 of Century Gardens in the Haidong area. Caspian is your biological half-brother, and your mother, along with all of you, acted like a bunch of absolute smooth brains. Not only pampering your own dad's side piece's son but treating him like the apple of your eye. Did I make myself clear enough? The words drop. Aurelia's mouth drops open in utter shock. Beatrice also reaches up and covers her mouth. But immediately after, speaking extremely fast, she asks, "How do you know this? Why didn't you say it earlier?" Aurelia follows up. "Do you have proof?" To be honest, she doesn't entirely disbelieve your words since there is a name and an address. There must definitely be a person named Penelope White. As for whether it's true, she will naturally send someone to investigate. It's just she really doesn't want to believe that the baby brother she doted on is actually her biological half-brother. If Caspian himself knew about this all along, wouldn't that be far too terrifying? Her blurted-out question instantly ignites the nameless fire burning in your heart into a roaring blaze. Why the hell are you asking me for proof when you, Aurelia, came to interrogate me? Why didn't you ask for proof when Caspian smeared my name? Why didn't you ask him for proof? How I know is none of your business. And does the great eldest Miss Sterling asking me for proof mean I have to give it to her? Believe it or not, that's your business. Does it have a single dime to do with me? Asking me for proof, on what ground should I give it to you? You can entirely treat me as a rumor monger, right? Seeing the situation, Beatrix hurriedly tries to comfort you. Orion, don't be angry. Eldest sister was just casually asking. Aurelia awkwardly turns beet red. But you have no intention of stopping. Asking for me to provide proof. Who does she think she is? The judge or the cops? Even if I have proof, why the hell should I give it to her? I only told you guys because I saw that you aren't completely hopelessly stupid. Otherwise, I would just wait and watch your Sterling family become a laughingstock. Don't you guys care about face? Working so hard for 18 years, raising the son of a side piece like he's surrounded by stars, and even preparing to hand over the family business to him. I'm truly looking forward to seeing how the news will report it once this blows up. Being pointed at and scolded by an 18-year-old high school student makes Aurelia's face look terrible. Keep your mouth clean. That is still your mother. We are your sisters. The Sterling DNA still flows in your veins. Hearing this, you let out a scoffing laugh. Eldest Miss Sterling, do you have amnesia or are you just genuinely stupid? I severed all ties with you guys just last week. That is your mother and your infinitely trusted baby brother, Caspian. I have absolutely zero connection with you anymore. Don't try to desperately force a relationship with me. Do you really think your actions towards me make you worthy of being called a sister? Are you worthy of being my sister? That woman isn't worthy of being my mother either, even if there is a blood relation. I'm very sorry. I dumped you guys. Understand? I am the one who dumped you. Did you hear me clearly? Beatrice wordlessly looks at this younger brother who is now incredibly foreign to her. Her heart suddenly feels a bit sad. Your sudden rage doesn't make her feel angry. Instead, it makes her feel even more guilty. Orion, she reaches out and grabs your hand. I'm sorry. It's my fault. In the past, I treated you badly. Come home with us. I promise to treat you well from now on. Okay? Hearing this, not only you, but even Aurelia is a bit shocked. Although Aurelia also wanted you to return to the Sterling family, she definitely expected you to apologize to father, mother, and Caspian after going back. After all, in her eyes, regardless of who was wrong, kicking a man in the family jewels that day was out of line, not to mention beating him into the hospital. While her thoughts are racing, you shake off Beatrix's hand and say, "No need. I am doing great right now. I have no relationship with you guys anymore. Didn't you always think I was coveting your Sterling family's assets? After leaving the Sterling family and severing ties, everything belonging to the Sterling family has nothing to do with me. I can support myself. I don't need your pity. You stand up. The question you came to verify, I have already told you. I have no obligation to give you this information for free. Remember, this time is money." Aurelia feels an inexplicable surge of anger hearing this. And you say you don't covet the Sterling family's money? Money, 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 all you know is money. How much? Name your price. Beatrice quickly gets up, pulls her back, and turns to say to you, Orion, don't be mad. Eldest sister is just like that. You raise an eyebrow. That's your sister. Don't call her eldest sister to me. After I disowned you, you are nothing but strangers. Whatever she's like has nothing to do with me. Anyway, the intel isn't free. Considering you pitiful folks might bring me a shred of entertainment in the future, I'll sell this news to you for cheap today. 100,000. If I sold this to some big influencer, I wouldn't dare say much, but it's easily worth 2 or 300,000, right? Second Miss Sterling, you know my green chat account, right? Do you need me to write it down for you? Beatrice stops the trembling, furious Aurelia, picks up her phone, and frantically starts searching for your account. You just stand quietly watching her search. Sure enough, it was deleted. Seeing this, you pull out your wallet, take out a bank card, place it on the table, and say, "Take a picture, transfer it to my card." Beatrice feels an overwhelming wave of intense regret. Suddenly, she takes a card out of her bag and places it on the table. This card has exactly 100,000 in it. You cut her off. "What do I want your card for? Transfer it to my card. And then, don't let anyone or anything from your Sterling family ever bother me again." Beatrice takes a photo of the bank card. Just as she is about to open her mouth to continue easing the relationship with you, she sees you pick up your card, turn around, and walk away. You don't even spare them a second glance. Aurelia's face is pitch black as she stares at the table, completely silent. Beatrice doesn't even bother saying anything to her, getting up and chasing right after you. Exiting the cafe, she quickly catches up and says, "Orion, can you listen to me say a few more words?" You stop in your tracks, turn around, and look at her. Beatrice speeds up her words. "I know that after you came to the Sterling house, I was consistently bad to you. It's my fault. Can you forgive me?" Seeing a look of impatience surface on your face, she hurriedly continues. "I'm not begging you to return to the Sterling house, nor am I begging you to forgive all of us. I sincerely, genuinely want to apologize to you." Her eyes are red, and she looks like she's about to cry. "Everything in the past was my fault. I shouldn't have stood on Caspian's side and sometimes even ignored your existence in the house. It's all my fault. Orion, will you forgive me?" You wait quietly for her to finish before saying, "Miss Sterling, after severing ties, I no longer have any connection with any people or matters of your Sterling family. The past is already in the past. It is absolutely impossible to go back to how things were. You don't need to apologize. I have already forgotten the past." Beatrice's tears finally fall. "I feel so guilty and uneasy inside." You cut her off. "There is no need. Your guilt is your own business. Just don't involve me. Everyone just try hard to be perfect strangers to each other, and that'll be fine. Goodbye." Beatrice stands blankly in place, watching your departing figure, crying silently. She regrets it so much. She hates herself so much. Why did she treat her only biological brother like that? Why was she so good to that fake product? Aurelia sits in her seat, not getting up nor checking on Beatrix. She is wondering if you deliberately said those things. Is it possible you intentionally planted someone at that address? But then she immediately dismisses this guess. Even if you are smart, you shouldn't have that much money to do all this. Thinking up to this point, she can't control her thoughts anymore. If Father has been hiding Caspian's true identity all along, wouldn't that mean Father had someone on the outside 20 years ago? How could she possibly accept this? If Mother knew, she would be even more unable to handle it. You bastard. Dropping this nuke of a revelation right after leaving the Sterling family. Do you want the Sterling family to completely fall apart just for your own satisfaction? This mindset, isn't it far too ruthless? Was it really just because we paid a little less attention to you over the past 4 years? If outsiders find out, wouldn't the Sterling family lose all its face? But what if what you said is true? What will happen to the Sterling family then? She is lost. She doesn't know what to do. Time passes quickly. Soon it's Saturday. For the Megasphere lottery, there are 3 draws this week. You went to buy them after school. A total of 5 different sets of numbers, buying 5 copies of each. You aren't entirely sure how much money this kind of price totals, but you believe it won't be less than 30 million. After taxes, that's around 20 million. For everything you plan to do in the future, this is undoubtedly more than enough. You won't even be able to spend it all. Things like the Megasphere lottery have always been games and tools for dreamers and those with premeditated plans. You aren't completely certain if everything post-rebirth will be exactly the same as your past life. When it's time to be nervous, you still feel nervous. On the other hand, this Megasphere lottery is the only method you can use to confirm that there won't be any massive butterfly effects in the future. That night, you don't watch TV. You just sit quietly in your room waiting for the draw results. At 8 p.m., there is a live broadcast on your phone. When your heart beats like thunder as you see the final ball is a 14, you truly cannot suppress the intense excitement within. You let out a small cheer, then roll back and forth on your bed for quite a while. After your mood settles down, you place the lottery ticket inside your phone case. You scheme in your heart. The first thing to do after claiming the prize is to buy a house for Arthur and Martha, a big house, and buy one for Hazel, too. That small shop they've rented for over 20 years, you'll buy it and give it to them. Then they won't have to keep running this little restaurant. Just collecting rent will ensure their future living standards won't drop below what they have now. Thinking about this with an uncontrollable smile on your face, you spread open the test papers that absolutely must be finished this weekend. On the other side, Aurelia and Beatrix have already discussed this several times over the week. They are shocked to discover that when they truly step out of the Sterling family circle and look at the daily occurrences in the house from an outsider's perspective, they really do notice some things that aren't quite right. Caspian's obedience and sweet-talking, as well as his clingy behavior towards Mother, undeniably have quite a few traces of being artificial. Even though the traces aren't super obvious, they can still be spotted. If it weren't for your reminder, they definitely would still be like before, believing that this younger brother is genuinely outstanding and excellent and extremely filial and obedient to their parents. Eldest sister, have you still not made a move? Beatrix sits cross-legged on the large chair in her room. Aurelia sighs and speaks up. This is the third time we've talked about this all week. Not yet. I still can't make up my mind. I'm afraid the investigated results will turn out to be true. I'm afraid Mom won't be able to handle it when the time comes. I'm also afraid that when that time comes, this family will be broken. Beatrice silently looks at this smart and wise eldest sister. Since entering the Sterling Corporation a few years ago, Aurelia took the CEO position after just 1 year of internship. She is the goddess of countless young talents in Cloud City. Yet, up to now, not a single one has managed to catch her eye. But when it comes to the Sterling family's internal affairs, why is it so hard to make a decision? Sister, Caspian's coming-of-age banquet is fast approaching. Do you want to wait until after that? Beatrice is getting somewhat anxious. She knows very well how wealthy families operate. They usually use this exact time to announce the status of the future heir. Once announced, if this massive scandal drops, then the wood is already carved into a boat, it will be irreversible. Aurelia also knows very well the importance of the timing of the explosion. Dropping a scandal at different times carries completely different impacts. It's not that I don't want to, it's just that I'm really torn. Eldest sister, Beatrice is getting anxious. If you keep dragging this out, the impact on the Sterling family will be even greater. Facts are facts. You can't keep covering them up. The later we find out, the greater the damage to Mom. If you keep hesitating, I'll do it myself. I absolutely cannot tolerate him continuing to lie to our Mom. Nor do I want the Sterling family to fall into the hands of an outsider in the future. This is absolutely a no-go. Aurelia shakes her head slightly. At most, he's an illegitimate son. He is still a descendant of the Sterling family. There's no such thing as falling into the hands of an outsider. Like you said, Beatrice lets out a cold laugh. If things really are as you imagine, I'd rather he be a pure adopted son with absolutely zero blood ties to the Sterling family. But if there is a tie, have you thought about it? One day, he'll bring his biological mother into the house. When that time comes, what will Mom and us sisters be? Just stepping stones for someone else? Give me a straight answer. Are you going to do it or not? If not, I will contact the paparazzi right now and start investigating Penelope White. I'll pay for it myself. Aurelia pinches her brow in frustration. I've already greeted some people. It's just they are still waiting for my signal on when to start investigating. Can you please stop causing trouble for me? Hearing this, Beatrice gets angry. Causing trouble? I call this setting things right. This matter cannot be dragged out any longer. I don't care when you plan to start investigating. I am contacting my people right now. She picks up her phone from the desk and starts flipping through her contacts. Seeing this, Aurelia quickly gets up, walks over rapidly, snatches the phone, and says, "Don't, Beatrix. Let me think about it a bit longer. Okay?" The impact of this on the Sterling family and on Mom is just too massive. Beatrice says coldly, "I really didn't expect you to be such an indecisive person. I am truly disappointed in this regard. You are honestly worse than Orion. He knew when to cut his losses. And you, the CEO managing a multi-billion enterprise, yet you appear so incompetent on a life-or-death matter like this. I misjudged you. Let me tell you clearly. Whether you decide to investigate or not, I will do it myself. What a total waste of several precious days. She stands up, reaches out, and takes her phone back. Even if the Sterling family falls apart, I have the ability to make my own money. I don't need you to support me. Don't use that excuse to brush me off. You, on the other hand, think about what you'll be able to do if the Sterling family falls. Marry into someone else's family to manage their company? Think it over carefully. I'm going to sleep. Go back to your own room. Aurelia opens her mouth but ultimately says nothing. She leaves Beatrix's room looking utterly dejected. Beatrice pulls open a drawer, takes out a family portrait from the very bottom. In the picture, you stand at the very edge. Your eyes hold excitement, but also a trace of loneliness. Right in the center, Caspian wears a calm expression, naturally enjoying the spotlight of the center position. Tuesday, you took a leave of absence to claim your prize. You bought a very cheap pair of Hudson glasses from a street vendor, put on a hat and a mask, and rejected all interviews and donation requests. You claimed a total of nearly $24 million in prize money, took a taxi, drove a huge circle around the city, and then returned to school. Currently, the only thing left to wait for is the college entrance exam. Now all your time is spent grinding practice tests. You even remember the majority of the questions from the exam in this specific year. What you need to do is simply wait for the scores to come out so that it doesn't seem too abrupt. Your grades were already good, and now presenting an image of intense diligence will undoubtedly convince anyone who might question your results. June 7th, inside the foreign language school, 3 invigilators constantly pace back and forth inside the exam room. You earnestly keep your head down and answer the paper. Even though you finished it ages ago, you don't turn it in early. You wait right until the bell rings, then hand in your paper and leave the room just like the other students. After the 2-day college entrance exams conclude, you already know exactly how much you scored. There were 0 differences from the exam papers in your past life. You are extremely certain your score will be significantly higher than your previous life. A perfect score is a pipe dream, but out of a total of 750 points, you are confident you can get above 720. The only thing left to consider is which university and major to choose. Morning of the 10th. Right after getting out of bed, you go to the small restaurant to help wrap wontons and steam buns. After 10 a.m., there are no more customers in the shop. You sit down and start scrolling on your phone. You want to see how much buzz the lottery incident is still generating. There is a lot of news online, but the majority are voices of skepticism. They aren't questioning the people who won, but rather questioning the numbers themselves. After all, 3 people hit the first prize jackpot. There are skeptics and there are those who believe the official statement. The main issue is that this set of numbers is simply far too magical. Historically, it's the very first time a 7 consecutive number sequence has ever appeared. This is a result that should theoretically only exist in, well, theory. But now it has appeared. You smilingly scroll on your phone for a while, then decide it's time to buy houses. By September of next year, which was the 2nd year after you died in your past life, construction for 2 new subway lines will begin. You decide to buy 2 apartments along the future subway routes and also buy a few storefronts. This way, the family won't have to keep running this little restaurant. Just collecting rent will guarantee their future lifestyle won't drop below the current level. Do it as soon as you think of it. I'm going to go out for a stroll. There aren't any customers right now anyway. Right as you say that, you hear Martha quickly agree. Go on, go on. You've been cooped up. I told you to go out and play, but you insisted on coming. Your dad and I are enough here. Arthur also nods continuously. Go spend a few days hanging out with your classmates. Once you get to college, you'll make new friends. So you step out of the restaurant, open the map app, and select the nearest real estate agency. More than 2 weeks have passed. The only useful information Beatrix managed to get was that Alistair indeed visited the Hydong area twice. Caspian, on the other hand, from the 2nd day after the exams finished, has been outside constantly partying and messing around with young female students. The evidence in her hands is completely unable to prove anything. If her father, Alistair, merely has a mistress on the outside, this kind of thing is basically insignificant. In wealthy circles, this is honestly a terribly common occurrence. As for Caspian, even if he forced himself on innocent girls, it wouldn't have any impact on the Sterling family. No matter which scenario, she wouldn't care because it wouldn't affect the family. She is still bitterly waiting for the latest updates. She is extremely disappointed by her eldest sister's inaction, so she paid out of her own pocket to hire a few people to tail them. What she wants is the ultimate evidence proving Caspian and her father appearing at Century Gardens together. Even though you already explained their relationship clearly, without concrete, irrefutable evidence, it's ultimately useless. Her greatest fury isn't aimed at Caspian, but at her father, Alistair, keeping the entire family in the dark for nearly 20 years. Just what kind of man is capable of playing the role of a loving, harmonious husband in front of his children for over 2 decades? It's simply unimaginable. She once even thought her father and mother might secretly be enemies, or that something happened over 20 years ago that led to her father having this Penelope White on the outside. But everything requires proof. Over the span of a week, you follow the real estate agents across all 5 districts north of the Great River. In the end, you choose small second-hand apartments that are extremely suitable for couples to live in or for singles to rent, a total of 11 units. The apartment sizes basically range from over 80 to 120 square meters. It cost you over $21 million, and you put all these properties under Hazel's name. You yourself don't have a single property under your name. Looking at the balance in your mobile banking app, you truly feel that money is something that just doesn't last when you spend it. Up to now, the preparations you made for yourself before leaving home are basically complete. You got the property deeds almost a week ago. Tomorrow, you can start checking your college entrance exam scores. You didn't just directly slam a stack of property deeds on the table at home and announce that you are a jackpot winner. You need to wait until the scores are out before taking out those deeds. First, present the honor to your adoptive parents. Then, gift the wealth to Hazel. Only then will they feel at ease. Hazel will never have to worry about money for the rest of her life. With these properties as a solid backup for their only daughter, they shouldn't have to work so exhaustingly anymore. Right now, it's already approaching 7 p.m. on the 21st. The newly bought computer, tablet, and phone are all placed on your bed. According to the notification, the scores can be checked after 8 p.m. tonight. Martha asks somewhat cautiously, "Orion, have you checked your score yet?" Arthur doesn't say anything, but Hazel turns her head from the dining table and says, "Not yet. My brother said he'll wait until you guys come back to check together." Hearing this, Arthur is naturally delighted. Good. Let's check together. Orion will definitely have no problem, Martha says as she washes her hands and soon comes out to sit on the sofa. Orion, check it. I know you definitely did well. You look at your nervous adoptive parents, smile, and say, "Don't worry, I know my approximate score." Then you get up, go back to your room, take out your admission ticket, and place it on the coffee table. The whole family gathers around. 3 pairs of eyes stare at your phone screen. You open the app, find the inquiry window, input the admission ticket number. When you see that it doesn't display your score, but instead a pop-up window reading, your ranking has entered the top 50 in the province. For specific details, please inquire on the 27th, you know everything is secured. But when you look up, you see 3 pairs of utterly confused eyes. So you hand the phone to Martha and say, "I am in the top 50 of the entire province." Martha holds the phone, looks at it for a while, then hands it to Arthur. "Orion, what does this mean? Why isn't there a score?" Arthur looks at it, puts the phone down, only for Hazel to snatch it up immediately. You smile and explain. "The scores of the top 50 in the province aren't announced right now." Hearing this, Arthur holds Martha's hand and laughs. "Top 50 in the province. Ha ha. That means it has to be at least 700 points, right, Orion?" You smile and say, "I'm not sure exactly how much. We'll find out when we check in a few days." Martha can't help but get teary-eyed, but Arthur pats her hand to comfort her. "Since it's like this, let's not rush it." Martha weeps softly. "Orion, you are such a good boy." Hazel also reaches out to hug her, saying, "Oh, Mom, my brother is top 50. If he's over 730 points, he might even be the provincial valedictorian. This is a great thing. Why are you crying?" Martha hugs her back. "Silly girl. Your brother has suffered so much over the past 4 years without anyone knowing." Seeing this, you quickly interject. "Mom, let's not talk about that. Being able to score this well is all thanks to the great study habits you guys instilled in me since I was little. It's all your credit. Arthur lets out a long sigh, stands up, and declares, "Today is a great day. Orion will definitely get into Capital University. This is the happiest day of my life." The fact that such a great kid didn't get valued in the Sterling family just means they are legally blind. Orion, have a couple of drinks with me. Wifey, go fry some peanuts and whip up a couple of bar snacks. Today, your old man is going to drink to his heart's content. Meanwhile, Caspian also checks his score accompanied by the whole family. Back when estimating his score, he guessed he was around 640. When the screen displays 653 points, he immediately breathes a sigh of relief. He then hands the phone to Serafina. "I wonder how much Brother Orion scored." He says this very carefully without showing any emotion. The smile on Serafina's face instantly freezes upon hearing this. She turns to Aurelia and says, "Aurelia, why don't you call and ask how much Orion scored?" "Why ask him?" Alistair's face immediately drops. "What does his score have to do with us?" Aurelia silently takes out her phone, but before she can dial, Beatrix presses her hand down. Beatrice smiles and says, "Caspian scored so well. Are you planning to go abroad or stay in the country for university?" Callanth is equally full of smiles. "Caspian is definitely going abroad, but Big Sister can't bear to let you go. Studying abroad means leaving for several years. Mom will miss you. As for Orion, even if his grades are good, so what? Think about it, sister. Dad definitely won't give him money to study abroad. And his adoptive parents running a small restaurant, could they give him enough money to send him abroad to study? Obviously impossible. Those poor mud dwellers couldn't earn enough to fund his study abroad in a lifetime. Besides, their family has a biological daughter. Even if they had money, they wouldn't spend it on him. If you ask me, Orion getting into a state college is already a stroke of luck for him." Aurelia also looks up at Caspian and asks, "Yeah, Caspian, what are your thoughts?" Serafina puts down the phone, looks at Alistair, and says, "How about let's not go abroad? If Caspian goes abroad, then I'm going with him." Hearing this, Alistair chuckles. Caspian studying abroad is already arranged. We just haven't finalized the donation details yet. After saying that, he looks at Caspian, his face full of gratification. "Caspian, which school do you want to go to?" Caspian lowers his eyes and replies, "I'm also a bit reluctant to leave Mom and everyone to go abroad alone. If I stay in the country, I want to go to a university in the Magic City. I don't want to go to the capital." Serafina's face instantly fills with joy. "Then let's not go to the capital. Magic City is close to home. Your youngest uncle is in Magic City. With him taking care of you, your life there will definitely be fine." Caspian doesn't reply, just looks up at his father. Seeing this, Serafina continues, "If Caspian likes Magic City, then let's go to Magic City. When the time comes, Mom will go there with you." Alistair shakes his head. "Forget it. Let's still go abroad. Go out and learn properly for a few years, then come back. Then you can directly learn how to manage the company with your eldest sister. In the future, everything in the Sterling family will be yours to control anyway." Caspian immediately asks, "Then what about Brother Orion? Are we really just going to ignore him?" After saying that, he lowers his head again and stays silent. Callanth sneers, "Caspian, are you stupid? He is the one who didn't want to come back. It's not like we forced him to leave the Sterling family. He brought all of this upon himself. Why bother with him? Just let him roll around in the slums." After asking that one question, Beatrix hasn't spoken again. Her eyes are fixed on the expressions of Caspian and her father. From the moment Caspian said that sentence, she has been observing. If it were the past, she might have joined her third sister, Callanth, in belittling the silent, introverted you. But now she realizes that the third sister, Callanth, is truly the most brainless one in the family. Caspian only said 2 sentences. Although it sounds like he pies you, if you look at it from another angle, he is provoking their father and the third sister, making them even more resolute in cutting ties with you. But why does the third sister show such extreme undisguised disgust towards you? She also can't understand why their mother seems somewhat reluctant to let you go, yet simultaneously appears completely indifferent. Could it be that during this time, Caspian has fed her some sort of magic potion again? She doesn't speak, just sits quietly on the sofa watching. Aurelia raises her hand and slaps Callanth's shoulder. No matter what, Orion is still your biological brother. If you don't like him, fine, but there's no need to degrade him like that. Let's ask about Orion's score in a few days. Since Caspian wants to know, we'll ask and then tell you. But this isn't anything important anyway. If Caspian wants to go abroad, then choose a good school. If you don't go abroad and go to Magic City, Caspian, you absolutely must choose finance. Magic City's finance sector is incredibly strong, unparalleled domestically. Beatrice watches her eldest sister staring at Caspian with glowing eyes, then looks at Caspian with his head down deep in thought. Just as she is about to speak, she hears Caspian say, "I think I'll still go abroad. Living and studying alone abroad should help me develop independent abilities faster. Over these past years being pampered by everyone at home, I feel like I can't even leave you guys anymore." Caspian looks at Serafina and says softly, "If Mom really can't bear to see me leave, how about you come abroad with me?" Hearing this, Serafina hesitates. Let's talk about this after Caspian's coming-of-age banquet. Deciding right now is a bit too early, isn't it? She has always had an indecisive personality, terrible at making choices. Alistair coughs and says, "Then it's abroad." It's decided. Aurelia glances at Beatrix, stands up, and says, "Let's leave it at that then. I'm going back to my room first." Beatrice also stands up. "I'm going back to my room, too." Callant grabs her bag and asks, "Caspian, want to go out and play with your sister?" Inside the room, Beatrix lights a cigarette, her face somewhat pale as she says, "Eldest sister, don't you think everything Caspian said today was completely deliberate?" Aurelia sighs. "If you look at it with prejudice, of course, it looks deliberate. But what if Caspian's original intention was genuinely just asking? Why do you have to think of him as being so malicious? Kids have competitive streaks. That's completely normal. There's no need to overthink it." Beatrice has no desire to listen to this utterly nutritious nonsense. She directly asks, "What have you investigated these past few days?" Aurelia shakes her head. "Nothing useful, but what is certain is that Dad does indeed interact with that Penelope White. Over the past half-month, he has gone over there 3 times. Beatrice says softly, "But that's not enough. It can't prove Caspian's relationship with her. Eldest sister, I've already cancelled the commission. I have other ways to prove this matter." Aurelia looks up and says, "I thought of that, too. To prove it, we just need to get someone to take Penelope White's hair for a DNA test. What I'm worried about isn't the result. If we can't accept it, what can we even do?" Beatrice laughs bitterly. "What else can we do? Let me handle it." Aurelia stays silent for a moment before asking, "So, you don't trust me? Do you think I would fake it for the sake of this family?" She pauses, then looks up, staring right into Beatrix's eyes. "I admit I don't wish for the result to be true. I hope the result shows Caspian has absolutely no blood relation to Dad. That way, this family won't break apart. Mom won't have to be heartbroken. Everyone can still be together happily and harmoniously. Even if Orion doesn't come back, this family is still fine. To put it crudely, sacrificing Orion alone in exchange for the stability of this family and the Sterling family's reputation outside, I think it's worth it. Anyway, whether it's Mom, Dad, or us sisters, none of us like him. Isn't that right? Must we tear this family apart for you to feel at ease, for you to be satisfied? Beatrix, why have you become like this? In the past, wasn't it you and the third sister who targeted Orion the most? Although I ignored him, I remember you were the very first one to tell him to roll out of the Sterling family, weren't you?" This barrage of questions from Aurelia shatters Beatrix's defenses. She lowers her head, looking at her own hands. Tears drip, drip, drip onto her arms and hands. "Yes, it's true. I was always verbally abusive to him. I even provoked the third sister to target Orion together. It's all my fault. My fault for telling him to roll out. My fault for constantly bad-mouthing him in front of Mom and Dad. And I especially shouldn't have egged Callanth on to break his heart." She raises her head, revealing a face covered in tear tracks. "I was wrong. I'm sorry. Sister, please stop hesitating. This matter should be told to Mom. No matter what, Mom should be informed. If Caspian really is Dad's biological son, then Mom absolutely needs to know. If it's truly like Dad says, that everything in the family will be inherited by Caspian, then what are we? What is everything you've sacrificed for this family worth? And the third and fourth sisters. The fourth sister is still in school and should be able to accept it, but the third sister always tends to go to extremes. Aurelia pinches the bridge of her nose. All right. All right. Stop crying. Your crying is making me annoyed. Let me think about it some more. Beatrice wipes her tears and says, no matter what your plans are, I absolutely cannot accept letting that illegitimate son stay in this house. The one who truly needs to leave this family is Caspian. Aurelia waves her hand dismissively. Okay, I get it. Go back to your own room. Give me 2 days. I'll collect some hair and go do a paternity test. Beatrice stands up. Whether you do it or not, I don't care. I don't trust you either. I will find my own way to do it. Don't even think about hiding it from Mom. As long as the results come out, I will confess everything to Mom. Frankly, short-term pain is better than long-term pain. I'll make the arrangements. Aurelia stares blankly at her. You are really going to piss me off to death. Fine, do whatever you want. Meanwhile, in the living room, Arthur's family is gathered around the dining table eating a KFC family bucket. You distribute the remaining 3 chicken legs to your adoptive parents and Hazel, then get up and head back to your room. When you come out, you are holding a stack of red booklets. Placed on top of the property deeds are an unopened tablet and phone, and you carry a laptop bag over your shoulder. Orion, bro? Seeing the whole family staring at you, you smile, walk over, and place everything on the sofa. These are all gifts for you guys. Arthur and Martha look at that stack of property deeds. With trembling hands, Martha opens the top one. Arthur follows and picks up another. Only Hazel's first move is to grab the phone, yelling with a face full of pleasant surprise. Is this for me? You smile, rub the top of her head, and say, actually, all of this is for you. A total of 11 apartments. The computer, the tablet, and the phone, they're all yours. At this moment, Arthur has only had 2 glasses of wine. His brain is still extremely clear. The property deeds state very clearly, the owner is Hazel Vance. Orion, where did you get the money? Yeah. Orion, where did you get so much money to buy so many houses? Martha echoes. Her hands haven't stopped. She has picked up every single booklet and looked through them all one by one. Did you win the lottery? Hazel asks as she tears open the packaging. You smile and nod. The final draw of the Megasphere lottery last month. I had 5 first prize jackpots and 5 third prizes. You struck it rich. Martha puts down the last property deed, looking up at you with red eyes. Orion, why didn't you write your own name? Beside her, Arthur is tongue-tied. He still hasn't recovered from the shock. Hearing this, Hazel also asks in confusion, let me see whose name my brother wrote. After casually flipping open one booklet, she immediately lets out a screech. Why is my name on this? She casually picks up another one, then the next. Arthur's lips tremble as he asks, Orion, why would you do this? The money is yours. Wouldn't it be better to keep it for yourself? You smile and say, these houses are all under Hazel's name. Moreover, they are all old, small, run-down apartments. I've already contacted an agency to rent them out. The rental income will be the main financial source for our family from now on. As for that restaurant, you guys can renovate it. Just serve lunch and dinner. Stop getting up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning to exhaust yourselves. Honestly, if it were up to me, you guys could just retire and become full-time landlords right now. Hitting the jackpot was something I didn't expect either, and the houses are already bought, so don't fuss over it. I have the ability to make my own money. I will buy even better houses for you in the future. Hearing this, Arthur sighs. Even so, you shouldn't have given it all to her. Aren't you keeping anything for yourself? You reply calmly, Mom, Dad, since I did this, of course, I've thought it through. You guys only have Hazel as your daughter. Now you have me. No matter what, Hazel will eventually get married. These houses as premarital assets will definitely not become some other family's property. This is wealth that Hazel can rely on for her future. No matter what happens, she won't have to live a hard life. Hazel interjects. How old am I and you're already talking about this? You pinch her cheek. You're my sister. Giving this to you is only right. And the computer is yours, too. You turn back to Arthur and continue. The houses are already bought, and they are all under her name. I'm definitely not taking them back. Besides, I still have over $2 million on hand. Whether it's for school or whatever, it's enough. Furthermore, I can still make money. My college entrance exam score definitely won't be low. So whether it's where I go to school or my living expenses, you two don't need to worry at all. I'll live in the school dorms and eat at the cafeteria. I won't need you two to worry about a thing. As for you guys, just stay home and collect rent to live your days. And that's it. That little restaurant, open it if you want, close it if you don't. We aren't lacking money anymore anyway, right? Martha wipes her tears and shakes her head. No, we can't take your things. Arthur nods. That's the truth. You are still a kid. It makes no sense for us to start leeching off you for food and drinks. We can still work. We can afford to put both of you through college. Even if you go for a master's or a PhD later, we can afford it. You smile and say, don't worry. Life will only get better and better. Really, I even plan to buy you a new car. It's just that I didn't want to buy it directly because I was afraid you wouldn't like it. Arthur immediately shakes his head and waves his hands. No changing cars. Don't spend any more money. Money is hard to earn nowadays, but it spends incredibly fast. Don't waste money recklessly anymore. You nod quickly, smiling as you say, I know. I only took a few bites earlier. I just wanted to use this opportunity today to let you know. Not only are my grades good, but my luck is also incredibly good. If Mom and Dad hadn't taken me in, I wouldn't be here, right? Martha can't help but nod along automatically. Arthur sighs. Then let's keep eating. Wifey, pack these things up and put them away safely. That night, Arthur and Martha lie in bed, both completely unable to sleep. We can't accept those houses, Arthur. I know. It's just that Hazel's name is already on them. It's hard to change it in a short amount of time. Plus, it would cost another huge sum of money to change it over. Also, changing the names would require Orion's signature. He probably won't agree to sign. Let's just leave the house situation as it is for now. When he chooses to go to college in the capital, let's go with him. At worst, I'll go beg them to provide some help and convenience for Orion. Martha freezes for a moment, hesitating. Arthur, back when things were so incredibly hard, we didn't go beg them. Going to beg them now, is it appropriate? And we don't even know what Orion actually needs. Arthur sighs. He calls me dad. So I should do this. Otherwise, I have no right to be his dad. In another room, you had just returned to your room when you received a text message from Beatrix. Orion, what was your college entrance exam score? You take one glance and toss the phone aside, having absolutely zero intention of replying. Even though this second sister was the very first to show goodwill to you, those past 4 years are already over. You have no desire to let those miserable days affect your future life. Days fly by. In the blink of an eye, it's the 27th. You can finally check your college entrance exam score. Today, Arthur and Martha didn't even open the shop. Hazel went to school. The family of 3 sits on the sofa, waiting for the time to arrive. Orion, have you decided which school you want to attend? Martha can't help but ask. You reply, Mom, Dad, I've already made up my mind. Capital University, finance major. We'll figure the rest out once we get to the capital. I reckon I'll quickly buy a house in the capital, too. Then, when you two come to visit me, you won't have to stay in a hotel. Arthur is momentarily stunned. That's not necessary. I have a house in the capital. It's just that I haven't taken it back yet. You ask curiously, you have a house in the capital? Except for the past 4 years, I've never seen you go to the capital since I was little. Martha speaks up. Arthur, have you thought this through? Arthur shakes his head. Let's not talk about this right now. Check the score. Let's see exactly how much it is. Hearing this, you look down and start refreshing. Soon, the screen displays the final score. You first show the score to the couple, then announce with a big smile, with this score, taking the top 3 in the whole province shouldn't be a problem. Last year's provincial valedictorian only had 727 points. I'm 5 points higher than him. However, this year's exam papers probably weren't as hard as last year's, so there might be someone who scored even better than me. Martha and Arthur are already ecstatic. If he's the provincial valedictorian, that would be incredibly awesome. But immediately after, Martha asks, Orion, if this score is announced, will the Sterling family come looking for you again? You quickly reassure her. Mom, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. Even though I am their child by blood, the grace of raising me outweighs the grace of giving birth to me. I remember exactly how they treated me. I will not leave this family. Of course, once school starts, I do have to go to college. Right. Now that the score is out, someone will probably call or come knocking in a bit. What do you two plan to do? Arthur shakes his head. Anyway, it's your college admission. We won't say a single word. At worst, we just turn off our phones. Saying that, he pulls out his phone and directly shuts it down. Martha sees this and follows suit. You stand up. It's fine. I've already decided on the finance department at Capital University. I won't choose anything else. If we really can't avoid them, just tell them my choice directly. On the other side, ever since Beatrix collected Alistair's hair from the master bedroom, she also managed to get Caspian's hair. To guarantee the accuracy of the results, she prepared 3 samples and sent them to 3 different places for testing. Although she hasn't gotten the results back yet, she has already seen the news reports. This year's science valedictorian is named Orion Sterling. Not only the name, but even that face, there is absolutely no way she could ever forget it. During dinner, she deliberately went downstairs early and sat in the living room waiting. Father and Caspian returned together. Mother doesn't know about this yet. Seeing her father and brother walk through the door together, she suddenly has a bizarre thought. Did they go to meet Penelope White? Caspian's face wasn't looking great either. But after going upstairs to change clothes and coming back down, everything seemed normal. Eldest sister Aurelia hasn't returned. She's probably at some business banquet. Eating dinner at home tonight are only father, mother, herself, Callanth, and Caspian. The rules of a wealthy family: no talking during meals. While this rule exists in the Sterling family, it isn't strictly enforced. After all, the one who talks the most is mother herself. She keeps serving food to Caspian, asking him all sorts of questions, concerned about his situation at school. Beatrice was just about to bring up the news report regarding Orion when she hears Caspian speak up. Mom! Brother Orion became the provincial science valedictorian. Seraphina's hand holding food for him instantly freezes midair. Then placing it in his bowl, she asks, Really? Beatrice doesn't know what her soft-willed mother is thinking about again. She only sees her mother's eyes turn red. This leaves Beatrix feeling incredibly speechless. Alistair, should we call Orion back to celebrate? Seraphina looks at her husband. Alistair doesn't say a word, but his face looks terrible. Callanth interjects. Why call him back, Mom? He's the one who severed ties with us. In other words, he's the one who dumped us. Why should we shamelessly go licking his boots? Besides, Caspian did great, too. Even if he doesn't go abroad, he can get into any Ivy League equivalent easily. That mud dweller, just let him stay outside by himself. Calling him back is just an eyesore. Caspian picks up his serving chopsticks, places some food into Seraphina's bowl, and says, Third sister, don't talk about Brother Orion like that. It must be very hard for him out there all alone. I wonder if anyone even cares about him. I think we should call him back. The exams are over anyway. I'll move out for a while. Once I go abroad for school, he won't see me if he comes back. He'll probably stay. Seraphina slaps his arm. What nonsense are you talking about? Where are you going to move to? Mom is going with you. Alistair also frowns. Caspian, shut your mouth. Don't bring up that rebellious son in front of me ever again. If he has the skills, he can carve out his own piece of the sky. So what if he's the science valedictorian? Does he really think knowledge equals wealth? Even if he was the national valedictorian, it still wouldn't compare to what you are going to inherit. Callanth laughs along. Exactly. You said it perfectly. Among wealthy families, which one hasn't accumulated wealth over several generations? It's honestly hilarious thinking he can compete with a wealthy family through his own solitary hard work. Absolutely ridiculous. Caspian, stop overthinking it. For people like Orion, studying is the royal road to Rome. But you were born in Rome. How could he possibly compare to you? Stop saying things beneath your status. Just listen to Dad. Seraphina nods. Although I am highly educated, practically speaking, since I married your father, I haven't had to work a single day. This is the foundation accumulated by a family. It's fundamentally unimaginable for an ordinary person. Eat in peace. Don't overthink it. If Orion doesn't want to come back, Mom definitely cannot bear to see you move out. That would simply take Mom's life. Beatrice returns to her room and immediately calls Aurelia. Aurelia is currently dining with Silas Thorne. Seeing it's a call from Beatrix, she picks it up directly. Why are you calling me at this hour? What's up? Eldest sister, do you know who the provincial science valedictorian is this year? Aurelia pauses for a second. I don't know. Who is it? It's Orion. This year's provincial science valedictorian is Orion. Aurelia finally puts down the fork in her right hand. She picks up the red wine in front of her, takes a sip. What are you trying to say? Beatrice says slowly, I remember. Caspian once said Orion's grades at school were just average. And we never questioned how he knew Orion's grades. We never asked why he knew Orion was hanging out with street thugs and delinquent girls. We never investigated it. We just believed it instantly. But now Orion is the science valedictorian. Think about it. Is there something wrong here? What makes it even more hilarious is that during dinner tonight, Caspian brought up Orion being the valedictorian to Mom himself, and no one asked him, why did you always say his grades were bad before? Could someone with bad grades become the valedictorian? Aurelia says impatiently, you don't need to tell me all this. I understand everything. Regardless, all those things in the past were just you and Callanth causing a ruckus at home. Without the report in hand, saying anything now is useless. Stop annoying me. I'm having dinner with lawyer Silas right now. If you have anything else, wait until I get back tomorrow night. Beatrice asks, you're not coming back tonight? I'm not. Aurelia looks at Silas, who just threw a massive wink at her. We'll talk tomorrow night. Hanging up the phone, Beatrix picks up that family portrait with a piece torn off, staring at it quietly. Another 4 days pass. Miss Sterling, here is the appraisal report. Beatrice has already completely despaired. This is the final appraisal report. The previous two had already given the answer, but she still didn't want to give up hope. Looking at the conclusion of the appraisal report, her vision goes dark once again. Thank you. Even the words of gratitude sound incredibly weak. Returning to her car, she doesn't start the engine to leave. Woo! Woo! Why is it like this? Why? What should I do? Woo! Woo! The second miss of the Sterling family, a famous screenwriter, sits in her sports car, crying softly. Confirmed blood relation. She doesn't dare imagine what the consequences will be when these 3 reports are placed in front of her mother. She can't even imagine what will happen if the media finds out about what you've been through. She regrets it. Her anger and indignation from a week ago. Her persistence when facing her eldest sister. Right now, it all feels like a massive joke. When she stands in her eldest sister's shoes and considers this entire situation, she hesitates. She, who usually considers herself very cool-headed, surprisingly feels a trace of resentment towards you again. Why did you have to tell me all this? Do you absolutely have to see the Sterling family fall apart to feel satisfied? Did you already foresee this outcome? The moment you proposed severing ties, she cried in the car for a very long time. Once her mood slowly settled down, she finally touched up her makeup. Her phone screen displays your number, but she simply doesn't have the courage to dial it. Eldest sister, are you free right now? After much deliberation, Beatrice still calls Aurelia. Hanging up the phone, Aurelia slowly puts her pen away, then tidies up that massive office desk. More than half an hour later, Callanth parks her car and steps into the grand entrance of the Kempinski Hotel. Inside room 608, Beatrix has already placed the appraisal reports on the bed. Aside from her eyes being slightly red and swollen, everything else looks fine. On the coffee table, there isn't just an ashtray, but also an open bottle of red wine. Sitting across from her, Aurelia is also drinking wine. Neither of the two says a word. They just sit there. When Callanth knocked, it was also Beatrix who opened the door. Eldest sister, second sister, what on earth is so important that we have to talk at a hotel? Couldn't we say it at home? She casually tosses her bag onto the sofa and plops her butt down right next to Aurelia. Beatrice doesn't speak. Turning around and walking into the bedroom, Aurelia pours her a glass of wine. Wait a moment. Look at the things first, then we'll talk. When Beatrix comes out, she directly hands 3 appraisal reports to Callanth. Callanth looks weirdly at her eldest sister, then at the expressionless second sister. What documents are these? She takes them, glances at them, and instantly freezes. Paternity test reports. Whose are these? 3 reports coming from 3 completely different hospitals. The conclusion is exactly the same: a blood relation exists between the 2 samples. Although Callanth doesn't know whose these are, she knows very well that before you returned to the Sterling family, a paternity test was also done. And it was precisely because of this reason that no matter what you did, she never liked you and never even gave you a single good look or a kind word from start to finish. Aurelia picks up her red wine, downs it in one gulp, sets the glass down, and says, "Caspian is not adopted. He is our biological half-brother." Callanth's eyes widen massively. Her red lips part slightly. The hand holding the appraisal reports freezes midair. How is that possible? Eldest sister, did you make a mistake? How could Caspian possibly have a blood relation with Dad? This is impossible. She violently slams the documents onto the sofa and yells loudly. Caspian was brought back from the orphanage by Mom and Dad. The samples were retrieved by me from Dad's master bedroom and Caspian's room. To ensure accuracy, I divided them into 3 batches and had them tested at 3 hospitals simultaneously. The facts are right here. Beatrice exhales a puff of blue smoke, picks up her wine glass, takes a sip, turns, and walks to the window, looking outside as she says, "I regret it very much." Aurelia sighs. What we need to face now is how to make Mom accept this reality. What strikes her as odd is that Callanth didn't cry, throw a tantrum, or scream. This third sister has always been the one with the most explosive temper in the family. "Callanth, why are you being so calm?" Callanth laughs coldly. "I don't believe this at all. What is your motive for producing this? These things might have legal validity, but how can you prove these belong to Dad and Caspian? How much benefit did Orion give you two to team up and pull off this kind of stunt? Where did he even get the money? Besides, even if this stuff is Dad and Caspian's." Aurelia is speechless. She shakes her head and says, "What then? It simply means that the baby brother Caspian you adore so much is truly your actual brother. As for Mom, the son she pampered is actually the son of a side piece." Beatrice sighs. "Callanth, I know you have the best relationship with Caspian. This doesn't just prove Caspian is Dad's illegitimate son. It proves Dad has been deceiving Mom and all 4 of us sisters this entire time. Not to mention, there are other possibilities. It's just that I haven't gotten the evidence for them yet." Beatrice glances at her eldest sister. And seeing her nod, she continues, "Caspian and Orion were born less than a month apart. How did Orion get lost? We'll talk about that later. At the very least, it proves that after Mom got pregnant with Orion, Dad found another woman on the outside. Orion gets lost. Dad brings Caspian home and claims he was adopted from the orphanage. Faking these kinds of documents is easy. The problem is Mom doesn't know. Have you thought about it? What if Caspian himself also knows his true identity? Eventually, us 4 sisters will get married. When that happens, Mom will be all alone at home." Callanth's face changes constantly. She picks up the red wine in front of her, downs it all in one breath, sets the glass down, and says, "You don't need to say anymore. I can roughly imagine what the consequences will be. But this report..." Aurelia suddenly lets out a light chuckle. "If you don't believe it, does it cease to exist? Do you want me to create an opportunity for you? Go retrieve the samples yourself and send them to the hospital for testing yourself." Aurelia's words hit Callanth like a physical blow. She stared at the DNA reports on the sofa, her breathing heavy and erratic. "Fine," Callanth snatched her bag. "I will. If I find out you two are playing some sick joke to tear this family apart, I will never forgive you." She stormed out of the hotel room, slamming the door so hard the walls vibrated. Beatrice watched the closed door, her eyes hollow. "She's going to crash harder than any of us, eldest sister." Aurelia simply poured another glass of wine. "Let her. She needs to see the truth with her own eyes. We all do." For the next 3 days, Callanth moved like a ghost through the Sterling villa. Using the excuse of helping Caspian pack some of his old things, she managed to secretly secure a few strands of his hair from his comb and snuck into Alistair's study to retrieve his. She paid triple the expedited fee at a high-end private clinic across the city. When she received the sealed envelope 2 days later, she didn't open it immediately. She sat in her car in the hospital parking lot for 3 hours. When she finally tore the paper open and let her eyes fall to the bottom line, her entire world shattered into a million jagged pieces. Probability of biological relationship, 99.99%. Callanth screamed. It wasn't a scream of sorrow, but one of pure unadulterated fury and humiliation. Everything Orion had said was true. For 18 years, she had poured her heart, her protective instincts, and her sisterly love into a boy who was the living, breathing proof of her father's betrayal. Worse, Caspian almost certainly knew. He had played them all for absolute fools, weaponizing their affection to isolate Orion, her actual blood brother, until he was driven out of the house. Her phone rang. It was Aurelia. "Did you get it?" Calantha's voice trembled with a venomous rage. "When do we tell Mom?" The opportunity arrived 4 days before Caspian's highly anticipated 18th coming-of-age banquet. Alastair had invited Penelope White to a private upscale tea house in the city center to discuss Caspian's trust fund. What he didn't know was that Aurelia, using her power as the CEO of the Sterling Corporation, had hired elite private investigators to track his every move. That afternoon, Serafina was led into the tea house by her 3 daughters. She was confused and slightly irritated. "Aurelia, what is the meaning of this? I still have to finalize the floral arrangements for Caspian's banquet." "Mom, just trust us, please," Beatrix said, her voice cracking. Aurelia pushed open the sliding doors of the VIP room. Inside, Alastair was holding the hand of a beautifully dressed, elegant woman, Penelope White. Sitting across from them, smiling warmly, was Caspian. The tableau froze. Serafina stared at the scene, her mind unable to process the image. Alastair. Caspian. Who is this woman? Alastair's face turned from shock to a dark, furious iron blue. He instantly stood up, shielding Penelope. Caspian, however, looked like a deer caught in headlights. The carefully crafted mask of the innocent, loving adoptive son crumbled instantly. Aurelia stepped forward, slamming a thick folder of documents onto the tea table. "Her name is Penelope White. She is Dad's mistress of over 20 years, and she is Caspian's biological mother." Serafina swayed on her feet. Calanth rushed forward to support her, pointing a shaking finger at Caspian. "You knew, you little snake. You knew all along. You watched us pamper you. You watched Mom cry over you, and you knew you were just the son of a homewrecker." Mom, let me explain." Caspian panicked, trying to step towards Serafina, but Calanth shoved him back violently. "Don't you dare call her Mom!" Calanth shrieked. Alastair slammed his hand on the table. "Enough! Aurelia! You dare investigate your own father? You brought a bastard into our home and paraded him as an orphan." Aurelia fired back, her CEO persona fully taking over, cold and authoritative. "You let Mom mourn her lost child while raising the son of your mistress right under her nose. You let us abuse Orion, a real brother, just to protect this fake." Serafina's legs finally gave out. She collapsed into Beatrix's arms, letting out a wail that sounded like a dying animal. The realization hit her with the force of a freight train. Every scolding she gave Orion, every cold look, every time she chose Caspian over her own flesh and blood, it was all a manipulation. She had driven away the son she had spent 14 years agonizing over. All to nurture the seed of her husband's betrayal. Alastair. Serafina choked out, tears ruining her makeup, her chest heaving. How could you? How could you be so utterly evil? Seeing that the truth was fully exposed, Alastair's panic morphed into a ruthless sneer. He adjusted his suit jacket. "So what if you know? The Sterling family needs a capable heir, not that introverted, rebellious trash. Orion. Caspian has been raised by my side for 18 years. He is the true young master of the Sterling family." "Not anymore," Aurelia said coldly. "As of this morning, I have convened an emergency board meeting with the shares left to me by Grandpa and the support of the board members who are thoroughly disgusted by your moral corruption. You are being voted out of the chairman's seat. Your assets will be frozen pending a thorough audit." Alastair's arrogant expression finally cracked. "You wouldn't dare. Watch me." Aurelia turned to her mother. "Mom, Lawyer Thorne has drafted the divorce papers. You will take half of everything he owns, and these two will get nothing." Serafina didn't look at Alastair. She looked at Caspian, the boy she had loved with every fiber of her being. Caspian looked back at her, his eyes filled with a terrifying, calculating desperation. In that moment, she saw what Orion had seen all along. "I want a divorce," Serafina whispered, her voice dead. "And I never want to see either of your faces again." Late August. The heat of the summer was beginning to fade as you stepped off the high-speed rail at the capital city station. You took a deep breath of the northern air. Beside you, Arthur was carrying a large suitcase while Martha held Hazel's hand. Capital City, we're finally here. Hazel cheered, looking around excitedly. You smiled, pulling your own backpack over your shoulder. Over the past 2 months, life had been peaceful. The rental income from the 11 apartments in Cloud City was flowing in steadily, entirely transforming the Vance family's financial situation. Arthur had officially handed the small restaurant over to an old friend to manage. Now the whole family had moved to the capital to accompany you for your university years, living in the old house Arthur had reclaimed. Your phone buzzed in your pocket. You pulled it out and glanced at the news feed. Scandal of the century, Cloud City's Sterling family patriarch ousted amidst illegitimate son revelation. You clicked the article, skimming the details. Aurelia had ruthlessly purged Alistair from the company. The divorce was messy, public, and utterly humiliating for Alistair. Penelope White, seeing Alistair lose his fortune and status, had reportedly taken her secret savings and fled abroad, leaving Caspian behind. Caspian, stripped of his sterling young master halo and his credit cards, was now a pariah in the wealthy circles, forced to attend a mediocre local college, his reputation in tatters. You locked your phone and shoved it back into your pocket. Everything all right, Orion? Arthur asked, noticing your slight pause. Everything is perfect, Dad, you replied, a genuine, relaxed smile spreading across your face. Just some irrelevant spam news. The past life's trauma, the kidnapping, the bleeding out in the cold warehouse, the betrayal, it all felt like a movie you had watched a long time ago. The Sterling family had destroyed themselves without you even needing to lift a finger. You had just handed them the mirror. 4 years later, the campus of Capital University was covered in golden autumn leaves. You, now a top graduate of the finance department, were walking out of the grand auditorium after the graduation ceremony. You wore a crisp suit, holding your diploma. A highly lucrative offer from a top-tier investment bank was already sitting in your email, though you were heavily considering starting your own private equity firm using the massive wealth you had compounded from your lottery winnings over the years. Bro, over here. You looked up to see Hazel, now a university student herself, waving frantically. Beside her stood Arthur and Martha, holding a massive bouquet of flowers, their faces glowing with pride. You quickened your pace, ready to join them, when a figure stepped out from behind a large oak tree, blocking your path. You stopped. It was Serafina. She looked at least 10 years older. Her designer clothes were replaced by modest, unbranded attire. Her hair had streaks of gray, and the arrogant, elegant aura of the Sterling matriarch was entirely gone. Behind her stood Beatrix, looking equally exhausted and worn down by years of family infighting and public scrutiny. Orion, Serafina's voice was a fragile whisper. Tears immediately welled up in her eyes as she looked at you, tall, confident, and brilliant. The son she had thrown away. You looked at her, your expression entirely placid. No anger, no sadness, nothing. Orion. Mom was wrong. She sobbed, taking a desperate step forward. Mom was so wrong. I know the truth now. I know everything Caspian did. I've left him. I've left Alistair. Your sisters and I, we just want you back. Please, can you give Mom one more chance to make it up to you? Beatrice lowered her head, silent tears falling onto the pavement. We're sorry, Orion. We truly are. You looked at the two women for a long moment. You remembered the desperation you felt in your past life, the aching need for just a fraction of their love. But standing here now under the bright autumn sun, your heart was completely full. You let out a soft, polite exhale. Mrs. Sterling, you said, your voice calm and steady. I told you 4 years ago. The moment I walked out of that gate, we became strangers. I don't hate you anymore, but I don't need you either. My parents are waiting for me. Serafina let out a choked gasp, reaching out a trembling hand as if to grasp the edge of your graduation gown. Please, you are my son. You took a smooth step back, avoiding her touch entirely. My name is Orion Vance, you corrected her gently but firmly. Take care of yourselves. Without another word, you bypassed them. You didn't look back, not even once. As you walked toward the bright waving figures of Arthur, Martha, and Hazel. As you reached your true family, Martha pulled you into a tight, warm hug. Arthur clapped your shoulder proudly. And Hazel shoved the massive bouquet into your arms with a bright laugh. Surrounded by their laughter and love, you walked forward into your boundless, brilliant future, leaving the shadows of the Sterling family behind forever. The sky was high, and the bird had finally flown.